Back here after a win, again, very proud of our everyone involved in our program of going to Troy and getting a conference win. I had a chance to seal up the East and get back here and be able to play Georgia Southern at home. We get a chance to honor 28 seniors. All 28 have given their all for Appalachian. So we got a big game this week, and we're looking forward to it.
Sean, you had a chance to come back and review film. Obviously, first half to second half was kind of a stark difference there. What'd you see that really maybe was different first half to second half? Was it anything really tactical, or was it just kind of attitude of the team?
I think, you go back and look at the tape. Our defense take 2 plays away, and Troy doesn't have much offense. And then offensively, we were driving the ball and got to the red zone and got stuck a few times and 2 turnovers. But, Troy has a very, very salty defense. We knew that going into the game, very similar to South Alabama. And we had to be patient with the run game, and which we did. And but again, I think the turning point was right before the half. We scored a touchdown, get the ball back, and go score again. We had 21 unanswered points, and I think that really flipped the page. And our whole team, from offense, defense, special teams, the second half has played the best they played all year.
You've been talking all season about making sure you're peaking at the right point. As you go through the 3 different phases of offense, defense, special teams, where do you feel like you are on that continuum?
I think all 3 phases have gotten better, and I still don't personally believe we played all 4 quarters yet. I think so. That's a good sign that we're still peaking at the right time. But again, we're doing a lot of good things on offense. We can't turn the football over, and those will get you beat. But defense is given a chance to win. You look at the stats; they had 2 sacks, 8 tackles for a loss, and 1 interception. And then they had 11 hits from the quarterback out of 45 snaps, and that's just a tribute to our players playing fast and getting to the quarterback.
As you move on to Georgia Southern, we can talk tactically about what they are this year, but talk a little bit about the rivalry and really kind of the way that you as a staff try to set that up for the players, because you got some older guys who certainly live and breathe it, but you also got younger guys that are probably still learning what it really means to be Hate Week. What's the message this week on that? Well,
it's my opinion. I played here. I know what this rivalry means to everyone that's worn the black and gold and all of our fan base, and it doesn't matter what the records are. You throw the records out the window, and it wouldn't matter if we were both 0-11 going to this game. It's going to be a great college football game, one of the best in all of college football, and we know what's at stake. I mean, this is the game. I mean, this is the Florida Georgia. This is the Texas A&M game, in my opinion. So again, it doesn't matter what the records are. We know what's at stake. They'll come here ready to play, and we have a lot of respect for those guys down there. We know a lot of people on their staff with Sloan and Coach Wade, and so we know what they're going to be doing. So we look forward to having it here at the Rock on the last Saturday of the season.
And then, you're in a little bit of a different situation than App has been in relative to the Sun Belt Championship, in that you've already clinched a spot, which has been different from other seasons. As you think forward to this week, look, the given is you're going to try to win the game. You're going to do whatever you need to do to win the game. But is there any thought towards how you handle personnel if guys are, dinged up, lingering injuries, those kinds of things, realizing what's coming up 2 weeks from now?
No, unless they have a cast on their leg or in a wheelchair, everyone's playing this week. That's how important this game is to this program and everyone involved.
Sean, last season, senior day, I think, kind of had a little bit of mystery to it with maybe who was going to come back, who was going to go on. You don't have that as much this year. A little clarity on who's actually playing in their last few games for App. This group, mainly the guys that have come back. Can you even wrap up what they've meant to the program, especially considering they've been here about as long as you have when you came back here?
Yeah, every player has a unique story, and I can go down the list, and starting with Corey Sutton's a kid that had an ACL injury in 2019, opted out in the COVID year, and came back. And he's had an unbelievable season. And you look at Sean Jolly and Thomas Hennigan, Malik Williams, Demetrius Taylor. I can go down the list, and just a lot of great players. DeMarco. I mean, those guys have given their all for Appalachian State, and there's always more to the story than what people know. I mean, it's hard to play college football, and especially at Appalachian State, where you have such a high academic standard here, and to be able to play at a high level, to be able to graduate from here and get a world-class degree, it's everything. I mean, and we tell our kids all the time, you come here to get a world-class degree and have a chance to play for championships. And this group has done it all but one season in a COVID year. So very proud of how they represent our university and what they've done for our program.
Like David mentioned, you've already got it clinched up. And, this senior group experience, kind of that knowledge that they weren't going to be able to fight for the championship last year. And I wonder what kind of effect you've seen, for those guys, the ones that did make the decision to come back and have actually kind of come to fruition of at least being in that title game again.
Well, that's what they came back for. I mean, I think each person has their own story of why they came back. But, 9-3 was a tough season. And a lot of times people get extensions for 9-3, and that was a down season at Appalachian State. And unless you play for championships, then it's not a successful season. So, I mean, you'll talk to those guys more about that, but I know they want to come back and have a chance to go out on the right note, and that's a chance to play for a championship.
Can you give a sense of what it's like trying to navigate, factoring in the COVID year for some of the younger guys going forward? Because I'm sure, it's a lot of moving parts with the eligibilities of each guy and what that's going to look like for them.
Yeah, it's moving pieces. I mean, it's like a puzzle. We meet on this twice a week, and just the roster management part of it. And again, you have guys that can come back that want to move on with their lives. You have guys that aren't sure. So I mean, it's really taking its toll. Not taking its toll, but we have to really dig in deep into the roster management part of it, because we're sitting here with 12 scholarships, and they don't have to tell us till the end of May if they're leaving or not. So we're meeting with our players on a one-on-one basis and kind of see where they are right now and try to have a better plan for it. But right now we feel good about guys coming back for next year, the guys that we think are coming back, and it's a mess, but something we have a handle for, I hope.
Last one for me, and not trying to make you look too far ahead, but this is a program that's looked very similar for a while, at least with the players, these seniors that are going to be leaving. And I wonder if there's like an anxiousness and excitement about maybe how different this team is going to look and how you proceed from there when next season starts.
We're still going to be Appalachian State. I think we have the core of our program. It goes back 30-some years with Coach Moore and Scott, and Eli came in for 1 year, and really it was still the Appalachian culture. And as long as I'm here, it'll be that same way. But, those guys have given a lot to our university. We're very thankful for them for doing that. But, the show must go on. And we have a bunch of young guys that are eager to play. And when their time is called, they'll be ready to play.
Coach, to kind of add to something Ethan said, and Ethan, it's great to have you back. You look at it from a standpoint of you're right. Players had to make a decision to come back here. And they did come back here and they were successful. Sometimes people may just take it for granted that you bring back an old group and they are good because they're old. What was it about this particular group from a development standpoint that kind of tracks along with not only did they come back, but they are better now than they were when they elected to make that decision to return for 21? How have you watched that develop as the year has gone on?
Well, I think, our program, when we speak of our entire program, we always work hard. There's no doubt. We never want to question how we work. But you could tell a difference last year in spring practice in the summertime. Those guys are really getting together, and with Chase coming in with a new quarterback, getting their timing down, and they were on a mission. This was, we call it the Reckoning Tour, because we want to make sure things are right in the world and play for a championship. But I wouldn't say they worked any harder, but they were out there getting to know each other, getting ready to know Chase, and our offensive line worked hard, our defense worked hard all summer long, and just their mentality of how they went to attacking the season. And we knew, we took it in steps. We know our goal one was to win the opener, and we did that. And our goal two was to win the state, and we call our state North Carolina and South Carolina. And the third phase was to win our division, and the fourth phase was to play for a championship. And we have the opportunity now, and we're looking forward to it.
Senior classes tend to put their stamp on this place. There's one with a plaque on the wall up here for their dominance back in the championship years. What do you think ultimately gets said about this group 5 years from now?
Well, going to the season, our players said they would have a chance to have one of the best senior classes in the history of Appalachian football, and they still do. And again, we won this past Saturday, but we're not done yet. There's still a lot more we can improve on, and a chance for 3 more wins. But the most important game is Georgia Southern this Saturday and going 1-0.
Two more quick ones for me. First one on late game management, clock management. We saw it at the end of the first half with Troy, and that's been evidenced in some other places. I know you've alluded to in the past what you do to try to prepare for those moments, but again, preparation is one thing, execution is another. Can you talk about how your team has improved as the year has gone on in those late game pressure situations?
Right. That's something that myself and Coach Ware look into, and we study this on a weekly basis. And I do believe games are won and lost in clock management. And you can go back to Marshall, you can go to Coastal Carolina this past weekend versus Troy. It's something we practiced, a 2-minute situation every Tuesday, Wednesday. We practice that, and we look throughout the week of different scenarios of other college football games, and we sit down and Lance and I look at it, and what would we do here? How would we call a timeout here? And our players believe in it now. And sometimes in practice, you practice a drill is to practice a drill, but when you can show them on tape, hey, this is why we do it, and this is what's happened, and our guys have bought into what we're selling to them. And our 2-minute drill is probably one of the most spirited drills we have throughout the week, and that's a winner. You either win that drill, or you lose that drill, and our guys compete at that spot. But I'm very proud of those guys. You go back and look at the Marshall game. We take a knee and run the clock out, and we take the Coastal game down, and they're out of timeouts. We don't score. We kick a field goal to win the game. And in Troy, we practiced that same scenario last Tuesday, roughly within like 7 seconds difference of that same scenario. But our guys are taking a lot of pride in those drills, and it's paying dividends for us.
Last question. What was your first Georgia Southern rivalry memory as a player here?
I would say 1994 in Statesboro. That's when we were playing, and Andy Arnold was taking out of the game, and Scott Satterfield came in and led us to a few drives. We ended up ultimately losing that game, but it really changed our season when Scott came into the football game in '94. Then 95 here, and just the way that was big time football. I mean, we're in the FCS level then, but just the hits of the game, the intensity of the game. And back then it was either Georgia Southern, Marshall, or Appalachian State playing for a championship, and we knew we had to play our very best in those games. But just a great rivalry. Again, a lot of respect for that university, but it's one of the greatest rivalries in all college football.